Ever feel that gut punch moment when everything you thought was solid crumbles, leaving you adrift in a world that suddenly doesn't give a damn? That's the raw nerve Bob Dylan's Like a Rolling Stone strikes, a 6-minute sonic slap that turned the music world upside down back in '65. It's not just a tune. It's a mirror held up to anyone who's ever fallen from grace or hell, even tripped over their own ego. And folks, the story behind it? Pure chaos laced with brilliance, from a near-quit-the-game meltdown to studio accidents that birthed magic. Stick around because we're peeling back layers you didn't know existed with enough twists to make your head spin like a, well, you know. Let's rewind to the spark that ignited this beast. Picture Bob Dylan, fresh off a grueling tour of England in the spring of '65. The man's exhausted, burned out from the folk scene's endless demands, protest songs, acoustic purity, the whole righteous shebang. He's thinking, screw this, maybe I'll hang up the harmonica and become a novelist or something equally unglamorous. In his memoir, he calls it a low point, where the weight of expectations felt like a noose. So what does he do? He holes up and unleashes a 20-page rant, this stream of consciousness vomit of words. His word, not mine, vomitific. It's bitter, it's sprawling, a cathartic purge against hypocrisy, lost innocence, and the phonies of high society. Now most folks would burn that mess or shove it in a drawer, but Dylan, he distills it down to 4 razor-sharp verses, turning personal venom into poetry. That's the conception, not some divine muse whispering in his ear, but a fed-up artist spitting fire on paper. And the title? Like a Rolling Stone. Oh, that's got roots deeper than a Mississippi Delta blues. It nods to the old proverb, a rolling stone gathers no moss, meaning if you're always moving, you don't get bogged down by life's crap. But Dylan flips it, drawing from Hank Williams's Lost Highway, where the line, "I'm a rolling stone all alone and lost," paints a picture of despair, a wanderer paying for sins with isolation. Muddy Waters had Rolling Stone too, which inspired a certain British band we won't name-drop just yet. For Dylan, it's the perfect metaphor, rootless, directionless, stripped bare. How does it feel? Yeah, that chorus hook. It's not just a question, it's a taunt, a mirror forcing you to confront your own freefall. Obscure tidbit, Dylan's early drafts, scribbled on Roger Smith Hotel stationery, show him tweaking lines like swapping "you used to make fun about" for "you used to laugh about," honing that edge. Those pages? Sold for over $2 million at auction years later. Talk about turning trash into treasure, or in Dylan's case, vomit into vintage wine. Now fast forward to the writing proper. Dylan's channeling his inner Kerouac, pulling from on-the-road vibes of aimless Americana. The lyrics? A takedown of a once privileged soul tumbling into the gutter. Once upon a time you dressed so fine, threw the bums a dime in your prime, didn't you? That's the opener, painting a debutante in her glory days, doling out charity like pocket change, all smug and superior. Origin? Straight from Dylan's observations of New York's elite, the Warhol factory crowd, where money and art mixed like oil and water. But it spirals. People call, say, "Beware, doll, you're bound to fall." You thought they were all kidding you. The meaning? Arrogance blinds you to the cliff ahead. Then comes the fall, scavenging meals, dealing with shady characters like the mystery tramp who's not selling any alibis. That phrase? A swipe at con artists peddling excuses, rooted in Dylan's disdain for insincere hustlers. And Napoleon in rags? Allegedly a dig at a pompous figure, some say Andy Warhol himself, strutting like an emperor in tattered glamour. The whole thing builds to that explosive chorus. How does it feel to be on your own, with no direction home, a complete unknown, like a rolling stone? It's liberation through loss. When you've hit rock bottom, you're free. Weird fact, Dylan later admitted the song's partly about himself. That shift from he and they to staring in the mirror post his '66 motorcycle crash. What if he'd kept the full 20 pages? We'd have a prog rock epic, probably with a drum solo that lasts longer than most marriages. All right, let's hit the studio for the album and release shenanigans. Because if the writing was chaotic, the recording was a glorious train wreck. June 65, Columbia Studios in New York. Dylan's got producer Tom Wilson at the helm for this track. Wilson, who'd shepherded Dylan's folk days, but was about to get the boot for Bob Johnston on the rest of Highway 61 Revisited. The band's a mix. Mike Bloomfield on guitar, sharp as a switchblade, and then there's Al Kooper. Kooper's invited to watch, a guitarist by trade, but he sneaks onto the Hammond organ when no one's looking. Never played it before? No problem. He waits an eighth note behind the band to guess the chords, creating that woozy, off-kilter riff that defines the song. Dylan hears it in playback and demands, "Turn the organ up." Kooper later called it his proudest moment, even if it was half accident. They nail it on the fourth take of the second day, after 15 attempts the first. The result? 6 minutes and 13 seconds of unfiltered energy, no fades, no shortcuts. Release time, July 20th, 65 as the lead single. Columbia execs freak songs over 3 minutes? Radio suicide. But Dylan's manager, Albert Grossman, stonewalls, "You can't cut it, it's all or nothing." Stations resist at first, playing truncated versions that fade after 2 verses, like chopping off Michelangelo's David at the knees. But demand builds. DJs flip the script and suddenly it's blasting full length. Charts at number 2, blocked by the Beatles' Help. Ironic, since Dylan introduced those lads to marijuana the year before, sparking their creative evolution. Ripple effect? This song shatters the pop formula, paving the way for epics like Hey Jude. Obscure nugget, the 45 RPM single's grooves were so packed it looked like a solid black wall, needle-tracking nightmare. And at Newport Folk Festival days later, Dylan plugs in electric, plays it live and gets booed by purists. Pete Seeger allegedly wanted to axe the chord, literally. What if they had? Folk might have stayed acoustic and we'd all be strumming Kumbaya instead of rocking out. Satirical aside, imagine those folkies today, clutching their vinyl like sacred texts, while Dylan's laughing all the way to the Nobel Committee. From there it rises to mythic status faster than a rocket to the moon. By fall 65 it's everywhere, capturing the era's upheaval, kids dropping out, questioning authority, the whole counterculture brew. Jimi Hendrix hears it and thinks, hell, if that nasal voice can rock, so can I. He covers it at Monterey Pop in 67, flubbing lyrics but owning the stage, breaks him in America. The Rolling Stones, named after Muddy's tune, jam it in dressing rooms for decades before recording their own stripped-down version in 95. Keith Richards admits they hesitated like covering a sacred cow. And the magazine? Rolling Stone launches in 67, nodding to Dylan's hit in its first issue. Cultural ripple? It kills Tin Pan Alley's cookie-cutter songs, proving rock could be literary raw over 6 minutes. Voted greatest song ever by that same mag in 2004, Poetic Justice. But the weirdness? In 66 Manchester show, a fan yells, "Judas," for going electric. Dylan snarls back, "I don't believe you, you're a liar," then blasts the band to play louder. Iconic defiance. And in 2013, an interactive video lets you channel surf fake TV shows with celebs lip-syncing, mind-bending nod to media overload. Legacy? This track's a cultural earthquake, still shaking things up. It inspired rappers with its rhyme schemes, 3-beat lines, rapid-fire jabs, social commentary echoing back to Old English poets like John Skelton. Obscure weirdness. Dylan recut it in 70 for Self-Portrait, Nashville style with session pros improvising on the fly. Guitarist Ron Cornelius recalls Dylan waking up in a different world every day, enigmatic as ever. The manuscript. Not just sold big, it reveals cut lines about useless theories and ashamed friends, showing Dylan's editing genius. Ripple on culture. It mocks the fall of empires, from personal to national, America's decline from superpower to beggar. in one stretched read. But hey, that's the beauty. It's vague enough for everyone. Your freshman year scraping by? That's scrounging your next meal. Lost a job? No direction home. Funny what if. Suppose Kooper sticks to guitar. Song's flat, Dylan quits, and we're all listening to more bubblegum pop. Shudder. Satirical jab. High society's still throwing dimes at bums, but now it's influencers liking charity posts. Same hypocrisy, new filter. And the phrases that linger? Ain't it hard when you discover that he really wasn't where it's at? A gut check on false idols, born from Dylan's scene hopping. After he took from you everything he could steal, theft of soul, inspired by exploitative art worlds. Go to him now, he calls you, you can't refuse. Addiction's pull, whether love or drugs. It's all threaded with that urgent snarl, making you laugh at the absurdity while feeling the sting. Lasting oddity. Greel Marcus wrote a whole 300-page book dissecting it, like it's the Dead Sea Scrolls of rock. So there you have it, the wild ride of Like a Rolling Stone, from Dylan's near-retirement rant to a timeless taunt that still howls, how does it feel? If this got your blood pumping, smash that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into rock's rebel hearts, and drop a comment. What's your Rolling Stone moment? Until next time, keep rolling, folks, gathering no moss but maybe a little wisdom. How does it feel? Pretty damn good.